Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and it is Aerith and Aerith week, which means we have two more unit preview videos to do for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're going to start with Aerith, the girl over here on my left, and she's going to be really good. We're going to compare her to like Yuna. We're going to talk about how she's going to fit into this game and just talk about how powerful she's going to be overall. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I've said if I was only getting one unit in this collaboration, it would have been Aerith. People have come back at me from that and say, dude, hey, Cloud is the strongest unit in this collaboration, etc. And they might be right. Like, is Aerith as strong as Cloud? How can you compare them like that? Right? Like, I think they're very, very different units, and I'm going to go into what I think about that in this video. So let's get to all of those things right now. Okay, let's start off by reminding you that if you need some Visior, please consider using my Amazon coin affiliate link located down in the description. Quick, easy way to support the channel and a quick and easy way to save up to 20% on your Visior. So please consider that. That's done. Let's talk about Aerith. And I think we'll start like we always start. Let's look at her stat lines and see if they hold up to like what we expect from a newer unit that can be EX to 120 in War of the Visions. So you see those on the screen right now. And we got the whole breakdown, right? 99, 115, and 120. At 99, her HP is pretty low at 2173. Her magic at level 99 at 438 actually isn't bad. 64 agility, and then you can see the rest of her stats. She's a base 3-1 move jump, 0 defense, 5 spirit, strong against fire, weak against lightning, which you'd expect from a water unit. Her resist, she's actually -5 to slash. That's a little bit weak and that's slightly troubling, but that's in line actually with what other support units in the game are. She's weak to pierce, weak to strike, but strong to magic. So like a lot of casters in this game, she's actually just not good against physical damage, but pretty decent against magic damage. Her status effect resistances though, that Berserk resist, like F you King Mont. This unit is a water unit who's resistant to Berserk, so get wrecked. That's pretty nice. She's also 50% resist to Immobilize and 10% resistant to Doom. Now, as you start scaling her up, when she gets to 115, her HP takes a nice jump to 2591. Her magic jumps up to 546. That's a huge jump. That's over 100. And then her agility stays the same. Most of her stats stay the same, actually. So we'll look at those three again at 120. A decent boost in HP to 2760. Magic jumps all the way up to 617. That's a real nice number right there. Agility stays flat at 64. And you can see her 120 stats, and actually, those are pretty comparable to Yuna, who a lot of people still consider like one of, if not the most overpowered units in this game. And Aerith and Yuna have a lot of similarities, and we're going to talk specifically about some of those similarities. But I think before we do that, what might be useful would be to see Aerith and Yuna's stats at level 120 with some support abilities equipped side by side. So I'm going to put that on the screen. And in this comparison, I'm actually including like their sub-stats that they're gaining from their abilities, because I think those are really important for these units. So anyway, here's Aerith and Yuna, both at 120, both with just support abilities equipped. Nothing else, just their support abilities. Okay, HP-wise, Yuna has the edge in this case at 2877 compared to Aerith's 2760. That is really important. When you are a healing unit, if you can live through damage, you can heal yourself up. So it is actually important for Yuna. Like, check mark in Yuna's box to have more HP. Magic, though, Aerith with the edge, 617 magic in this build compared to Yuna's 576. And Aerith is getting no bonus magic from her support abilities that I have equipped in this build. She still has the edge over Yuna. That's really nice. They're a dead tie in agility, so if you're good at manipulating Yuna's speed and early turns, you can probably do similar things with Aerith as far as synergizing your team's agility goes. Dexterity and luck don't matter a whole lot for these units. They're both move 3, jump 1. In this build, Aerith has 17 spirit and Yuna has 14. I'm running what I think are just generically really good support abilities on both these units. That spirit number can be tweaked a little bit, but you can see it's comparable. Aerith with a little bit more, and importantly, neither of them have any defense. Okay, element-wise, Aerith, like, is elemental, so she has that give and take, whereas Yuna is actually typically weak to darkness, but I'm running her with a support ability that boosts it up to a +2. So you can make Yuna to where she doesn't care a whole lot about elements. If you look at their attack type resistances, you'll see they're very, very similar. Weak to physical attacks, strong to magic. Yuna's actually a little bit weaker to physical attacks because you can add in the missile weakness in there, whereas Yuna is counter to that, stronger to magic by 5. But it's the same sort of deal. They both boost their own element. I would say Aerith's status effect resists are generally better because you don't see a lot of silence in the game, and you don't see as much charm as you used to for Yuna. So there's their side-by-side comparison with stats, but let's look at those things in the bottom corners, right? The other thing they're bringing, and you can see both of them bring an increase in healing power by 20. That's huge. That makes Yuna's heals hit really, really hard, and Aerith's heals will also hit really, really hard because she has a lot of magic and she's boosting her healing power. Now, the rest of Yuna's like little substats there is she has AoE resist, so she's slightly tankier because of that. Whereas Aerith gains a little bit more offensive stats, or at least has access to them. You can see in the build I'm running, she has 20 accuracy and 40 spirit penetration, and 40 spirit penetration is a big deal. Now, you have other options with Aerith, and she can be, I think, a very effective damage dealer for you, and a little bit more of that will come out in her skills. But overall, if you put her like stat-wise next to Yuna, they are very, very similar. But let's look at Aerith's skills and see if she's going to end up being similar to Yuna, or if she'll be a lot different. Real quick though, before we get to her skills, let's look at her TMR and her Master Ability. Now, her TMR is an armor. It's Aerith's clothes, 378 HP, 6 defense, and 10 spirit. Generally speaking, I don't love TMR armors because of the stat lines on them. Like, there are better armors that you can craft in the game for stats, but newer players often don't have those, and typically speaking, like, the stats on Aerith's clothes aren't terrible. You're getting some spirit and some defense, okay, and the buff on it is actually pretty nice. Like, it is a single target resistance up to 25 if you max it in a little AoE, so it'll draw her to a teammate and then give a 25 single target resistance buff. That's pretty good. Like, that buff is good. And if you layer that with some like maybe AoE resistant vision cards or something, you could have a nice like overall defense buff to your group with both single target and AoE. So that's pretty good. Her Master Ability, she has the basic stuff we expect from newer units with the water HP and water attack up. Then she has 15% magic and 5 spirit. That's a very, very good Master Ability, and I like those for Aerith a lot. Now, let's skip over to her skills, and we will start like always in the support skills. Aerith actually has a lot of very good support skills because she has really good jobs, right? She's her own new job, plus Time Mage and Ruin Knight, which I like both of those. Now, let's look at her support skills. This is translated from JP, so excuse the translations, but Reef House Popular. They should just not change that, by the way. They should just leave that as Reef House Popular. That's freaking cool. But it's a TP buff. So, if you're playing Aerith and you're regularly running out of heals because you're out of TP, that's an option for you. It might be good in like longer PvE encounters. She has null CT. This is important for manipulating the AI if you're running Time Mage Aerith and you don't want her buffing herself with her Time Mage buff, so keep that in mind. Then she has Midgard Flower Seller, Spirit up 12, Healing Power up 20. This is that thing that makes her a better healer and makes her a little tankier, which is super important for healing. She has Ruins of Fierce Water, which is a water attack buff and a lightning resistance debuff. That's a very good trade. You will take 25 water attack for -5 lightning resist all day. She has high speed chanting. This is an activation time buff. And then she has Sharp Mind. I really like Sharp Mind if you want Aerith to do damage. Spirit Pin plus 40 is really good, and then 20 accuracy will help her hit any unit who's mixing in a little bit of evasion, or just keep you from getting some really unlucky dodge. Counter abilities. This is where we get into even more of like a Yuna comparison. Like, I'm gonna put my face on the screen here for a second because I want to talk about something. Do y'all hate Aeon Bond? I'm just curious, do you hate it? Because I think I hate Aeon Bond. In fact, Aeon Bond might be my most hated move in the game. Reflex sucks too. But like, there's nothing worse than when you're fighting a unit and you go hit her for 99% of her damage. And she's like, hey, about that 99% of damage you just did to me, boom, it's all healed and I'm freaking healthy. And you're like, and then she space chickens your team and you lose the fight and you're like, oh my God, I hate her so much. Okay. Go back to Aerith's skills. Now, she has a move, React Heal. Don't even look at these other two, they're pointless. Look at React Heal. This is a 20% chance to counter, same as Aeon Bond, with a 60 times heal for all allies. And you're like, wait a second. Yeah, that's right. This is not as good of a heal as Aeon Bond, and maybe I'll put a little Aeon Bond graphic on the screen here, but it's AoE. It hits in an AoE square around her. If Aerith is hugging it out with your team and takes some damage, she might just proc an AoE everybody's healthy again thing, and there are going to be some people triggered by that. People are going to get triggered by that. I'm just putting that out there. So it's pretty good. It's not as good of a heal as Aeon Bond. It also does not increase her healing power like Aeon Bond does, but it's AoE. I would say it's as good of a skill because that you're just trading better heal for AoE. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how triggering it really is. Okay, let's move on and look at the rest of her kit here and see what makes her good, bad, etc. All the things. Okay, her main job. Now, one thing you're going to notice with her main job is it doesn't have a bunch of damage in it. It is very, very support focused. So, Bodyguard Please. This is a self buff. You can see it's just her only, but it is an anti-hate buff. It actually decreases her hate and gives her AoE resist 15. Those are very, very good synergy right there, because when you're decreasing your hate, the only way you're going to get hit is by AoE, so she drops her own hate and then will reduce the damage she takes from any AoE, unless if she's one-on-one versus somebody and they're not in range of your tanks. What this also opens up to is some fun team comps where like you maybe run her with 2 bruisers or something like that, because since she can drop her own hate, she doesn't necessarily need somebody to build hate themselves. So if you want to run her with like, Titus, who's not running Taunting Blade, and another bruiser like an Orin or Barrett type character, I think that actually could work because she can drop her own hate, let them take it. Okay, let's move on. She has the buff Vision, or that's what it's called here. This is an AP restoration buff. Decent range on it, so it's a target your friend, give them 20 AP. That's kind of cool. She has Judgment Ray that upgrades into Ancient Tray. They, again, should not change that translation. They should leave it just like that when it comes to global. Ancient Tray. This is 185% damage. It has a decent range on it of 4, but it's single target and does not go diagonally, you'll notice. But 185% damage is respectable. It also decreases their AP by 20, and with the upgrade has a 25% chance to immobilize. This is a very good attack, and it's important that she has at least one very good attack in her main job kit, because she has access to like Spirit Penetration and all this way of doing damage. But that's really it. That's all she has for damage in her main job. Now, we'll keep going. We'll scroll it down even. She has Protect Servant. This is reduced magic damage taken by 35% for her and her allies. So it's an AoE magic resistance buff. Agrius has something like this, and it's the first time we've seen it, I think, since then. Then we get to her heal. She has Inori and Holy Inori. Very good heal. Hits in like a Kuraga-shaped AoE. 210% heal for allies, and increases their spirit by 15 for 3 turns. Very, very good healing spell. Then she has Re-Raise. We all know what Re-Raise is because Yuna trolls us with it all the time. Okay, now how about sub-jobs? Because it gets really interesting when you start talking about sub-jobs. And I think it should be pointed out that I don't believe any of her sub-jobs suck, and I think it's going to really depend on how you want her to play. Now, with White Mage of Final Fantasy VII sub-job, she gains access to a big AoE damaging ability. It's just 185% damage and hits in like Gargas size, Medina Limit Break sized AoE. The range on it is not quite Gargas range, it's actually 1 less, but this gives her a lot of range in which to do damage and a big AoE to do it. Don't disregard this spell or this sub-job. She also then gets Healing Magic Circle. You can see shorter range, but it's 120 times heal for the target with a regen on it. Not a terrible spell, but really if you're running White Mage of FF7, it's for big time AoE damage. Okay, there's that. Now, let's continue down. We got Time Mage coming up next. Time Mage, the only things you're going to care about here are she has Quicken and Haste. This is a big deal. Time Mages with Quicken and Haste are just better than Time Mages who only have one or the other. These are the 2 core spells of Time Mage. She has both of them. This is going to be very important for a character like Aerith. Now, I want to talk for a second about like things I've heard about Aerith. I've heard she really likes to like go forward with your team. And she has a lot of like, spells that are based around her that do AoE. And so it makes sense that her AI would like to be close to your team. One way that I think you could maybe correct that is if she is not in slot 1 in your group, or someone else in your group has hate, and she has access to quicken, she could boost that character out in front of her, and then she'd have to take turns like closing the gap, and while she's got that space, maybe she could be dropping some heals or something like that. So quicken, it might be a very, very important spell for Aerith. In order to help generate separation between her and her team. We'll see, like, I'm going to be testing all this out once I get her built up. Okay, continuing down the line, haste is big. She also does have Comet here, so she does have access to at least another damaging spell, and this one does at least have diagonal abilities on it. It's just non-elemental, so the water attack buff won't matter there. Now, we keep going. Ruin Knight. One of my favorite sub-jobs in the game is Ruin Knight. However, hers is a little bit nerfed. She has Drain Evocation. I really like this. This is a self-heal that increases your magic by 100% for 1 turn and increases your slash resistance penetration by 40 for 1 turn. So it's this massive 1-turn steroid where you drop Drain Evocation at range, then you close the gap and use like Water Sword or Water Aga Sword, aka Water Blade or Water Aga Blade. Critically here, though, she does not have Hazard Slash. That's what like Zombie Ryryu and those characters have, where they go Drain Evocation into Hazard Slash, and it just destroys. She does, though, have Water Aga Blade, which is a nice hitting move. Okay, when would Ruin Knight be good to run? If you want your Aerith to be like closing the gaps and like hitting people really hard, I think Ruin Knight would be very good to run. Or in PvE, think about how good of a water slashing unit Titus is. Here is a friend for Titus that can be a very powerful water slashing unit who can also heal if you need a spot heal or something like that. So Ruin Knight might be her best PvE sub job. Something to consider, right? Now, her Limit Break is a nice heal. The AoE on it's not huge, but it has a big range to it, right? It's a range of 1, 2, 3, 4, at 5 if you include the AoE. And it heals for 310%, so massive heal, with a 15 defense buff for 3 turns for allies. So I really like those skills, and now you've seen it, right? Like, that's Aerith, and that's what she's going to bring. I would still argue, I think, if I was going to talk about, because I said I would talk about this, is Cloud better than Aerith? Like, Cloud is a DPS unit. He looks like a dang good DPS unit. From what I've used, from what I've seen, he is a dang good DPS unit. Maybe one of the best ones we have in the game. I have about 40 DPS units, and I think a lot of them are very, very good. I have Yuna as an OP healer, and I would like to maybe see if Aerith could be another one. If Aerith is as good of a support as Yuna, which she might not be. Like, if I was to guess, I would say she probably won't be. But if she even approaches being as good of a support as Yuna is, and you don't have Yuna in your account, this could be an account-changing unit. Having that top-tier support, or at least second best support, can make your PvP teams just level up massively. It can help so much in those like really, really hard PvE events. Having somebody that can drop haste and quicken and big heals and spirit buffs and defense buffs, that's big. And I think she'll bring a lot more damage than Yuna. Yuna basically brings Space Chicken and Holy with a little like bursting light AoE. Like God, you know what? Yuna brings a lot of damage. But I actually think Aerith will bring more damage, and that she can slash for like water slashing teams with Titus. Ooh man, that seems pretty good. Water is in a good spot, and there's my Aerith preview video. So, hey, if you guys found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you actually find yourself wanting to buy Aerith or Barrett's 100 shard pack from the special shop, remember that if you do that through the Amazon store, you just save $5. Like, if you're using Amazon coins and buying that in the Amazon store, you're saving money by using Amazon coins, and you're getting $5 off, so it turns a $40 pack into like something closer to $30. It's just a smart way to do it. Like, I'm gonna put a link again to that, how that deal is explained, in my description, so look for that if you're confused or you want to learn how to install the game through the App Store. There it is. That's the video, y'all. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week. Good luck in your polls. I'm going to be doing Poll Wars for Aerith against Merlot on Wednesday, so look forward to that, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.